Hi everyone, welcome to Thirsty Thursdays with a Therapist. My name is Jaleisha Gatling. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist here in New York City, working with couples to help them unpack the baggage that gets in between their relationships. I am talking about dating against your values today. I tend to talk a lot about issues that couples in long-term relationships deal with and different concerns and issues that I help couples navigate, usually years and years into the relationship. But I want to put a lot more time and energy into talking about issues that a lot of individuals that I counsel are dealing with in the dating world, and people who are in fairly new relationships are trying to decide if they want to be exclusive with this person. And one of the big things that I help people to decipher between and really identify and get really clear on is what they value versus what they prefer. We have preferences and then we have values. And the values piece is what you really want to make sure that you are clear on and that you are honest about with yourself when you're out there looking for someone who you potentially could spend the rest of your life with. Now, I'm going to just jump into an example. I want to give you an analogy. Now, I want you to pretend, if you don't have children, pretend that you have a child and that you are interviewing for a nanny or a babysitter. And think about the different things that you would want or that you look for in terms of experience and what would be a good fit for your child and for your family. Now, say that you're interviewing this person and that they tell you straight up in response to saying, hey, tell me more about your interests, why you applied for the position, what's your experience with children, and this person tells you, to be honest, I don't really like kids. I kind of find them annoying. I don't really have a lot of patience for them, but my mom really wanted me to get out of the house and she says that I need to contribute more, and I figured it would be a really cool gig where I could play Xbox with somebody. I'm not really into it, but I thought I'd give it a shot. So I'm assuming that the majority of you, if not all of you, would probably cut that interview short, right? I don't imagine that you would call them back for a second interview or entertain the thought of them actually getting the job, right? I find that the themes within that analogy are something that a lot of people struggle with going on a first, second date. And they start to question the things that they really value and want in a relationship or in a partner, because they might get caught up on looks or the physical attraction or chemistry or the potential. People really fall for the potential of someone, right? And I think it's really, really good practice to get really clear on what you value, what is non-negotiable, what is going to matter in 5, 10, 20 years, and what is a preference. Perhaps height is a preference. Perhaps salary is a preference. Perhaps being really funny is, or really clean, or whatever. Perhaps those things are preferences. But when you're talking about big picture stuff that is going to truly matter, those are the things that you want to be clear on so that you don't start to doubt yourself or question what you need. And I think that a lot of people struggle because they start to they value being kind, which I don't think is a bad value, right? That's great. They value kindness. But I think sometimes we take that a little too far, and we may stay in something hoping that it will get better, or that this big picture value may change. And sometimes we can go a little too far in terms of being polite. And, if you want to reframe for that, I think being polite is being honest with yourself and honest with that person so that the two of you can have the opportunity and the chance to find someone else who actually does align with your values. And so what are some big picture values that couples may struggle with, or that might come out of the woodworks at the very beginning stages of dating, maybe before even exclusivity, that sometimes people may quiet their doubt and their voices in their head that say, okay, this is not a match, but they try to make it work, hoping that they can bring the other person around to them. What's an example of that? Kids. I see this a lot where one partner really, really wants kids, maybe is even on a timeline with that, but really definitely 110% wants children, and the other partner does not, or is very, very ambivalent about it. That's something that needs to be put out there fairly early on if you're talking about getting really serious. And you have to really face that if that's something that you want, there will be resentment if you go against that, or if you try and pull your partner and sway them into not wanting or wanting kids. Another example might be if you live a very minimalistic, simple lifestyle, and you happen to find yourself dating someone who really values things and is materialistic and finds value and meaning in things and wants to accumulate things, and that's something that they really identify with on a really deep personal level, and that aligns with their satisfaction in life and happiness. People that are on opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to that will eventually come to a path where they are clashing, because that's a big picture value. And so I'm not saying that you should go out there and have an interview with anyone. I know I use the analogy of an interview with a nanny, but I just thought it was such a good example, because when we're interviewing someone for any job, if anyone comes in and is like, I'm not really down to do those responsibilities, that's not really my thing, you know, I'll kind of like walk through it and maybe I'll come around to it, but I'm not really into what this job requires. You would not hire them. But so many people are walking around dating people for months and years on end that do not align with their value systems. And so I think it's really important to think about what your preferences are and what your non-negotiables are. With that being said, I hope you got something from this. I'm going to continue talking about this more and more. This won't be the last time, but I wanted to open up the new year with that. And I want to give some more time to some of the people out there who are in early stages of dating and who are single and dating, because I do have a lot of clients that are navigating that realm and are at a very different stage. And so I want to bring more of that to you on Thirsty Thursdays. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks on the next one. Take care till then.